All right, here was our old friend Jane Morris, coach of the Nicholas County Grizzlies, and by old, I just mean the length of time we've known each other. Jane.
I appreciate that.
You are an avid reader. We talked about it last year. Did you get any reading done this summer? I know you said summer's your big reading month.
Yeah, well, I got a series finished. I got about 3 books finished and started another one, and just didn't quite get that one completed. But I'll have a little bit of downtime here and there, and hopefully I'll be able to finish it as well.
Not too much downtime. I know it's August, so it's all
Really,
up
but
again.
sometimes it's good to have a little escape, get away from it, spend just a couple hours, and get away from things just a little bit. You don't have to spend 100% of your time with football. You spend a lot of it with there, but sometimes it's good to get a release and just kind of relax, and being out on the back deck underneath the umbrella with a good book sometimes just gets you to calm down and get you to get a kind of rejuvenate you, refresh things just a little bit.
You still feel the way you felt about the first day you reported, your first day as a head coach?
Well, I'll say yes to the point, but sometimes can't do as many drills as quickly as I used to, just a little bit slow. But for the most part, yeah, I really think so, especially with a young group. I mean, having a young group, having an inexperienced group, there's a lot of coaching that needs to happen. And you have to be on your game. You have to study a little bit harder, and it's a lot about finding what they can do and what they do well.
And this is a young group. Your quarterback, Jackson Morrison, walking by us now. His brother was quarterback last year. Do you see any similarities in their games, and what are the differences there?
Well, I mean, there's some similarities as far as athleticism, but that's just he hasn't been a quarterback for us yet. And so he still has a pretty good learning curve about what defenses are going to present to him, what they can do, and he's probably getting a little bit of help at home.
He said he was,
yeah, to get those things. But ability to throw the ball, ability to run the ball, his athletic package. I mean, he's got a pretty good skill set as far as that goes.
What are your expectations for him, being that he is a new quarterback?
Well, first expectation is he's in a battle right now with Colton Helms. Who's a sophomore, and he played a little bit of JV and was our JV quarterback last year. So we've got pretty good competition at that spot right now, and I like that, and I like the fact that somebody's got to move the team, somebody's got to guide the team, somebody's got to be able to help handle the adversity, especially with a young offense.
If one of those guys is not the quarterback, do they move to the spot where your all-state running back has been the last 2 years?
Not really. If they're not, with a wing-back position, a receiver position, something like that, we really think that Colton Browning, who was Caleb Clark's backup, is in there, and he's doing a fine job as far as taking the helm and running the football from that position. And then Devin Nash.
Backfield there.
Yeah, Devin Nash, and then you also have Ian Nutter, who's doing an outstanding job running the football. So, we got 3 guys that are back there running the football and getting a lot of reps.
Grayson Kesterson he reminds me of a typical Grizzly skill person. It seems like he could do a lot of things for you.
Yeah. I mean, Grayson really can. I mean, he kind of directs the secondary. He runs a lot of the things motion-wise with a young and kind of inexperienced receiving core. He's the guy they're always turning to, and that's just great. He's one of the guys that you're going to run the motions, going to be out there in the routes quite a bit. I mean, he's kind of the same guy with a little bit more vocal skill as far as that goes than Wes Hill was last year.
Coach, you lost a lot of linemen. I talked to 2 of them down at the North-South game. At West Virginia State back in June. Mm-hmm. 2 great players, Roman Milam, one of those guys who was, I think, a first-team All-Stater.
Yes.
How do you replace guys on the line who are that valuable and that experienced and as tough as they were?
Well, you have to remember that they were sophomores at one point in time, too, and they just got better. So, you're not going to be able to just replace them and say this can do the same things that Roman could do or Austin Altizer could do or any of those guys.
The other, right?
Yeah, I mean, Levi Helms at the other tackle or Josh Cunningham at guard. I mean, those guys that they had when they were sophomores, they had some growing pains as well. But if this crew works and gets after it, they have the opportunity to have that same ability as the ones we just left, and that's what we're looking at. That's where we're going. We know that this year we're going to have to kind of kind of whittle things down a little bit. We can't do quite as much as we did last year with that offensive line because it was pretty daggone good. Let's face it, those guys played together, had a lot of good chemistry. We're building that chemistry. We think that the athleticism will come around. I mean, they're not as strong as last year's kids, and a lot of that is just due to the fact that we're playing sophomores instead of seniors.
Coach, you played 2 teams went to the island. There were 6 teams up there. You played 2 of them. You played Independence and James Monroe. Play those teams again. I think they've got high expectations. What do you want your kids to get from those games when you play those type of teams? And I know you're going for the win. You're not showing up just to be on the field. But do you get anything? Your players get stuff from that?
Well, you know, if you're a competitor, then you're going out there and compete, and you like the challenge. And you know, the biggest thing is you don't want to back away from that challenge. You want to prepare for it, and you want to make sure that when you go out there on Friday night, your expectation is to win. Now, my expectation will be to win. What I'm looking for is their expectation to win. You know, I want them to show up with the thoughts that if we play the best game that we can play, we have a chance to win. So let's go do it. That's what I want their mindset to be every Friday night.
Overall, entire season, what kind of expectations do you have for this team? Do you like I think it's a it's a kind of atypical when it's a young team, and you probably have those every 3 years or so. Do you like coaching those teams because you have to really coach?
Well,
once you get experienced guys, they know what to expect from you. And
right, and with the experienced guys, you can add a little wrinkle in offense. You can add a little wrinkle on defense. You can add in a few more coverages. You can do some things like that. But with these guys, I enjoy it. I enjoy to see and watch their development throughout their career to try to get them to be the player that they want to be. And you know, right now they want to be coached. They've got all kind of questions, and that's good. That shows their interest and their level of wanting to learn and wanting to be better. So your expectations are just to make sure that really, you want to win them all. There's no doubt about it. As a football coach, you want to win every game. You want to make it to the playoffs. You want to do those things. And so we're still going to put that bar up there. We're still going to have those same goals as we did last year. Now, are there reasonable expectations? I believe so. But the thing about it is they've got to work at it, and we've got to work at it as a staff to find out what they do best. And then that's what we can go from.
How do you pick a book? I mean, you mentioned Grisham. I think that's probably your favorite author. You told me before. How do you pick a book?
Things you're interested in. You know, I just read a series on the EMP type, electric magnetic pulse type of attacks and things like that. There was a nice series on that I just read, and just interesting things, things that are interesting to me. I mean, Newt Gingrich wrote the foreword to it and things of that nature. So, I mean, I just feel like having that opportunity to read things with that kind of interest. Things that pique your interest are good. If you find a good author that you like, mine is John Grisham. I like his stories. I like the way he puts things, and I think he's a great author. You just look for those type things.
You think you have an interesting coaching staff here, including yourself. With the reading and everything. Pat Odell, could he write a book you might be interested in reading, and would it be fiction or nonfiction?
Well, that's just it. I think he would write a book, and he thought most of it would be nonfiction. But the rest of us would think it's got to be fiction because nobody could do that.
And he is an interesting character, is he not?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
He told me you probably with your arm could hit the goalpost from 30 out, like he does kicking. Can you still do that, Coach?
Well, I would have to get a lot looser, and then he can pick it up and do it right off the bat. It takes me several minutes to get my arm loose. I could probably make that throw a couple of times, but have the ice ready.
How much fun is coaching?
I still enjoy getting up every morning and getting here and going to work.
I can tell that is definitely true. Hey, Coach, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you.
Thank you.